A massive thank you to Rugby, Thomas, Carlo, Ruben and Blake for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 9 of season 6 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're back, of course. Last week was a bit of a weird week. New F1 season. Oh, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm recording this before the Bahrain Grand Prix, so any prediction I try to make today, you know, I could intro this by going, wow, I cannot believe Charles Leclerc won the race yesterday, or I could also be going, wow, I cannot believe Charles Leclerc threw that away with 2 laps to go in the Bahrain Grand Prix yesterday. But yeah, today though we're back here in Austria, Spielberg, round 9 of the campaign. We've now crossed over the halfway stage of Season 6. A massive thank you to all of you guys as well for the insane support. You know, with the start of the new F1 season, you guys have been getting back into Formula 1. I've been getting back into it a little bit more as well there. At the time of recording, we're now super close to 39,000 subscribers, making our way to our first big goal of 2022 of 40k. So, you know, if you're not already, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed as well for more Formula 1 content there. But performance-wise at the moment, Mercedes seem to be the ones that have brought some upgrades in recent races there. They're now on par with us, with both of us for just a tiny margin over Red Bull and Ferrari. However, championship-wise, we still lead the way, 26 points clear of Max Verstappen after a really good French Grand Prix last time around there. He's just 10 points ahead of Pierre Gasly, who's just a further 7 ahead of Sergio Perez there. And Tsunoda, all that consistency early on in the year is starting to fall away from him and Mercedes there as well at the moment, as I've just noticed. Apparently, we've got some driver transfers then. So Jack Aitken has gone to Alfa Romeo as we head in towards the Austrian Grand Prix there. Who on earth has gone to Mercedes then? That is the real question. Why? Why have you done this, Codemasters? George Russell and Lance Stroll are at Aston Martin. And apparently Mercedes has gone, yes, we'd rather have Lance Stroll join Mercedes there. So George Russell has stayed at Aston Martin. Esteban Ocon has now gone to Aston Martin there. And it seems... So Giovinazzi has gone to Alpine to replace Ocon, who's gone to Aston Martin, who has replaced Stroll, who's gone to Mercedes, and then Jack Aitken has gone to Alfa Romeo. I am very confused by that, but now we're going to have to wait and see, you know, is Lance Stroll going to be in a position now to win races later on this year there? Very confused by that, but let's dive in then here anyway to the Austrian Grand Prix. Name a more iconic duo on F1 2021 and Mercedes just making bizarre, pointless driver transfer moves there. Who in their right mind would have thought at the start of this game Mercedes would end up with a driver lineup of Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda? I mean, if I don't laugh, I'd cry, I think, looking at that. But it's certainly not particularly inspiring still at this stage of the game. However, it kind of makes sense for Jack Aitken to move away from Brackley there. But anyway, jumping into free practice though. Trying to get the car all warmed up, ready to go. Austria, again, of course, historically has been a very good Max Verstappen and Red Bull track, so we're going to have our work cut out this weekend. Did have a good battle, though, with him last season here. Remember, that one was one of the proper sort of on-track battles we had between myself and Max, and as we head through the final corner, going to be a purple score to kickstart the weekend. Actually had a bit of a gap since the last race in the My Team series. Like I said, last week was a bit of a weird one there, but still have done really well, so I cannot thank you guys for sticking around, obviously. So we've done some other little stuff, of course, announced our F1 Fantasy League. Again, I don't know how well we've done in the first race weekend. It's always a bit weird now the F1 season kicks off again. You know, trying to sort of commentate stuff when other things haven't happened that you'd expect them to. But anyway, across the line, qualifying run done. That's going to be purple as well. Love that. Let's get into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. The choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Well, if ever there's going to be a qualifying session in Formula 1 that's fought out by thousandths of a second, you'd expect it to be here at the Red Bull Ring. Only 9 true corners still on this circuit, I like to think. And of course, only 2 of those being to the left. As always, though, just going to go out for our first running Q2 on a set of mediums here, but yeah, it's going to be really, really tight here, as already Daniel Ricciardo just getting a little bit in the way. Maybe he can give me a bit of a tow, though, up the next straight, or is he just going to do what we've already seen quite a few drivers do over the course of the season? I fear Ricciardo might be trying to block me. Well, the lap was going to be over anyway, because the AI just don't move out of the way. So we better move out of the way for an AlphaTauri. Goodbye. It constantly frustrates me that on this game. Luckily, of course, with qualifying laps being completed in less than 62 seconds round here, you know, always the option to do a I mean, theoretically, I reckon if you really pushed it, you could probably try and squeeze 4 laps in to a qualifying session here at Austria. You know, sort of 4 separate in or out lap in, because yeah, just the lap times are so short around this venue. But let's just see then if this second lap, then we're going to go back out on the soft tyres. Sorry, we used in Q1. Was never actually planning on trying to make it through on the mediums. We just definitely won't have the pace. But of course, it's just good to get your eye in on a set of tyres that don't really matter, and occasionally, obviously, you then have just put a little bit into them ready for the Grand Prix. Well, yeah, this lap's been a little bit scruffy so far, but on the old set still. No corner there, trying to tap the curbs. Oh, big snap of oversteer on the exit of the final turn. But we still set a 1013. Not a bad lap there. 13 thousandths off Guan Yu Zhou, who's currently the driver at risk. There's definitely a few more tenths though in the car. I reckon nail the lap, we can get down very close to those 1 minute flats. Right, final lap then of Q2. We need a good one here. We want to try and make it through into Q3, but of course, yeah, also just sort of testing the waters, seeing what the car's going to be capable of when we get into that final session. Carlos Sainz and Ferrari are looking rather formidable so far this weekend. There is not a bad run at a turn 1. It's really, yeah, turn 2 at the top of the hill that we struggled with last time round. Just need to try and get on the power just that little bit earlier there. Short shift up into 4th gear there, and that's exactly what I mean. A couple of tenths found at the top of the hill, and around this track, that is pretty much everything here. Turn 3 as well, I made a small mistake. There's time on the clock just coming to an end. Oh, a little bit wide there, but still finding a little bit more time because of it. Really tried to attack on entry there. As look at that, the other Ferrari is Charles Leclerc improving. Pierre Gasly, our teammate, now goes fastest. That's the fastest time we've seen at any point so far this weekend. Verstappen, you can never count him out though here at the Red Bull Ring either. Down onto 1 minute point 4 as we head through the final couple of corners there. Horrible run through the penultimate corner. Horrible run through the last corner. We get a warning for track limits, but we only just make it through there. A little bit cheeky on that final lap, but yeah, just hit the inside curb bobble and had to keep our foot in. Not brilliant by me. But there we go, though. It is Sergio... Sergio? Sergio's in 7th. I don't know why I thought I'd bring him up immediately. But yeah, Verstappen fastest then at the end of Q2 there. But Lance Stroll making it through on a set of mediums. So that is actually very good pace by the Mercedes driver there. We need a little bit more pace in Q3 if we want to try and push ourselves further up the order. Not optimistic, though, we're going to be able to find it here. It's just a case of seeing whether anyone else can't get the lap in. And could everyone go sub 61 seconds? Right, first lap then in Q3. We're only going to do the 2 runs unless I bottle this one. Just want to use the new tyres there. Felt like we lost a little bit through turn 1. They're lacking just that little bit of confidence. Austria is such a weirdly momentum-based track. You really have to believe in the car underneath you. It was all very deep at the top of the hill there, but that's not actually a bad thing there, because it means you can straighten up the car and actually get on the throttle on the plateau on the outside, so you often can find time by just braking a little bit late there. Definitely won't find time doing that, though, down the other side as Sergio Perez, first man to post a time on the board. Didn't quite catch what that lap was, in all honesty. So just getting very close there, I think, dipping a wheel in the gravel, and this first lap has certainly not been one to write home about. We're desperately trying to find time. We lose all our pace, though, through this final sector. As we tip it in, that was a bit better. Oh, that was a lot of curb there through the final corner. Up towards the line, though. What's it going to be? Still only a 1014. We're getting slower and slower as the session goes on, but we were still ahead of Lando Norris. There is Stroll now. Immediately goes straight up into pole position in his first race for Mercedes. Oh, as the sky's just getting a bit overcast though as we get ready for our final lap then of qualifying here at the Austrian Grand Prix. We need to try and get the lap nailed though, and that's not probably the best way to start one. As we cycle back up through the gears, definitely going to need to concentrate here. Last chance to push our way up the order. Not the best run through turn 1, but we did still find time, which is exactly what we needed. Oh, no. That's it. Lap's over. Lap's over. Completely gone. I kept saying about how you need to try and outbrake yourself at the top of the hill there, but that was just a bit too much.
I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
It doesn't seem like many people are improving their times, however, though. We'll just watch everyone else as they cycle back round there. Sometimes if you skip out of a session, the F1 game can cause a little bit of shenanigans there. Norris goes quicker than us. Is Bottas going to do the same? Yes, he is. So we are last then, as Verstappen does take pole, though, on a 1 minute .002 there. So brilliant job done by Max Verstappen. But yeah, very, very gutted with that result for us in the end. There we go then. Max Verstappen pole position by 1/4 of a second here at the Red Bull Ring, ahead of Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda there. Perez 4th ahead of Gasly and Charles Leclerc. Bottas and Carlos Sainz make up row 4, and then myself and Lando Norris, my former teammate there, on the 5th row of the grid. 10th place though, not quite what we wanted here in Austria, but the race can often throw up some surprises. Let's move in then here to the Austrian Grand Prix.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lance Stroll in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Tsunoda, Perez, Pierre Gasly and Bottas, Sainz, Mr. Monaco, Ricciardo and Guan Yu Zhou, Aitken, Eilert, Nicholas Latifi and Lundgaard. Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Russell, Esteban Ocon and Antonio Giovinazzi. Norris, they've taken a grid penalty. Mazepin, Mick Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for round 9, the Austrian GP here, and I feel like this one today might be a little bit of damage limitation, to be honest with you guys, you know. But I said that in the Williams RTG, the race we did a couple of days ago at the Hungaroring, and that one, weirdly enough, turned itself massively around. So you never know what's going to quite be possible here. I feel like race pace in this car is going to be a little bit stronger there, going 4.2 laps under on the fuel. Of course, one stop always the way to do it around this circuit as well. But yeah, let's just wait and see. Got to make it through the first lap clean and tidy, but there are a couple of big opportunities to try and get places here. But we come into this one with a 26-point lead in the championship. We do not need to take too many risks at the moment, especially in a shortened calendar. That's a big gap for Max Verstappen to try and overhaul there. 5 red lights, though, here in Austria. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Not the worst start on F1 2021 there, as Bottas nailed it, as we're going to get boxed in, though.
Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
As I think that was Callum Ilott completely ramming into the back of me in towards someone there. It's given us a tiny little bit of front wing damage there, as Verstappen still leads the way as we head up the hill on lap 1. Don't think it's cost us too much, though. It's going to try and look back around the outside of Danny Rick at the top of the hill there. It's going to be a drag race off the other side.
On the MFD.
Why? We haven't got that much damage, have we? Car feels fine. Surely. See, it didn't feel like much damage at all there off the start of the Grand Prix. Ricciardo gets straight back up the inside though, down the other side of the hill. Oh no, it's through the left-handers. We're really struggling. We've had a... Oh, it's not good. I think we might have to pit now and then go mediums, then back onto a set of softs later on in the day. That is a heartbreaking start then. Callum Ilott down the outside, going way too aggressive there, as almost Christian Lundgaard going into the back of me as well. But I just said that would be a difficult points, sort of total for Max Verstappen to try and overhaul here in the championship. But he might be given a golden opportunity this weekend. They're the same colour as our car. However, got to keep our head down. A long race ahead of us here today. And yeah, like I said, we'll go on to mediums. There's always a big chance of a safety car here as well. But very, very frustrated with Callum Ilott there, trying to win it all on turn 1. It's a 9.2 second stop, isn't ideal either.
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Just got to make it clean and tidy out of the pit lane here. I know there's only 2 left-hand corners on this lap, as you can just see Verstappen sneaking back down the hill there, about half a lap ahead. But yeah, that's going to cost us a lot here, especially with how good the AI tend to be through the corners. And like I said, safety car is almost a guarantee here, although I'm sure now saying that we won't see one today. Anyway, Haskell's 18 seconds up the road. Let's get our head down and focus. Right, first proper representative lap time of the day. 1:03.2.
30.5 seconds.
Pretty much match Max Verstappen there, to be honest, which is pretty good going. As, yeah, I do find it quite funny just how slow those Haskell's are. Putting about a second a lap over Ilott there, and probably about 2 over Gio. Gaining 3 seconds, though, on the Haas. Well, there we go. New fastest lap. Got a better run through the final couple of corners there. That must have only been thousandths ahead of Max Verstappen, but what we need to be doing early on here, we're not going to be battling with those front runners. It's about trying to battle with the guys at the bottom end of the points today. And another one.
Fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
Love that, thank you. So that's a bit of curve through turn 1, but yeah, should be able to get towards the Haskell's within the next 2 laps. As we round the final corner, first time today we're going to get some DRS. Is it going to help us? Yes, it is.
Be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
No, they definitely do not, Jeff, as now we're going to try and, really we aren't battling these Haskell's, we're kind of just navigating them, as they're a bit of a mobile chicane. So we go to the left of one, the right to the other. We're now back up into P18 then of the Grand Prix, and of course, yeah, pretty much now, of course, I would have thought most people are going to one-stop this race. So every position we do pick off is actually for position and strategy. Just seen on the dash, we've got an engine warning light come on. Not too sure what that's for. It's going to be the ICE by the looks of it. So, yeah, this track certainly pushes an ICE, but I don't think F1 takes into consideration the altitude and everything like that. But I'm going to have to be careful with that over the next couple of races. Luckily, back at Portugal, we were a bit strategic with our engine components, so I'm hoping we won't need any more penalties this year. Alpine and Nikita Mazepin, their next car on the old hit list. This one should be a fairly nice, easy done deal. Clean in front before we even get back down towards turn 1. To be honest, not too sure why Nikita went so defensive there, but I guess Alpine on this career mode are now all the drivers that got dropped for F1 2022.
5.1 seconds.
That was not the right line to break there. Anyway, 5 seconds now, as Sonoda's already pit then. So maybe Yuki's on the 2-stop here, but still ahead of me. So we're starting to see a bit more strategy come into it then. A few more cars into the box. Christian Lundgaard and Charles Leclerc. Leclerc, of course, serving some penalties before this one. Means he was a little bit further down the order. But, yeah, I think a lot of these guys, though, probably going to have to 2-stop this. I don't think 25 laps on the set of mediums is something the AI would ever consider possible. So maybe we're not so far out of this still. And perhaps a lot of these guys are on a more even strategy with me. 3 wide, just up the road in front of us here. Loving the opportunity to try and take a bit more time out of these guys at the moment. As, yeah, Bottas, Russell, and it must, yeah, still be Yuki Tsunoda then. 3 wide at the top of the hill. 3 different Mercedes-powered cars. End of lap 12 though, crossing over 1/3 distance in this Grand Prix. Look at this, 2x2 as they head back up in towards turn 1. We're just trying to close up though on George Russell as Charles Leclerc is gaining in, but look at the run we've got on the Aston Martin. Fastest car versus one of the weakest on F1 2021 at this stage of the game. There's a big lock-up for the rears there as Latifi was just a bit worried we going to the back of him, but instead no, we'll go right around the outside of the Williams car. Can we try and get a run down the hill on Bottas in his McLaren? Not quite there as Ocon now and Tsunoda side by side just in front of us. Austria always provides so many good battles on the F1 games there. Just has a knack of grouping the AI up together as well. But we've got to try and capitalise on this as we head back down the hill. Of course, yeah, Bottas and Tsunoda on the same strategy as me, but much fresher tyres. There is Verstappen now, new fastest lap, 3 wide as they head in towards the penultimate corner, and Bottas will be the one to blink at the latest. Tsunoda certainly not wanting to get involved in that one as Latifi dives into the pits. Bottas now trying to make another move as they head back down towards turn 1 again. 3 wide there as Tsunoda. How has Yuki Tsunoda just pulled that one off? We go straight past Esteban Ocon in his new gig with Aston Martin, and again, not quite 3 wide this time around. There is practically pushing Tsunoda up the hill. Will now try and go late on the brakes, a bit of contact with Daniel Ricciardo. It's all kicking off here in the Austrian Grand Prix as we try to put the throttle back down. Bottas just making contact with myself there as I tried to give them both the room on the inside. But look at this. This is what I mean. Austria, action. They just go hand in hand on the F1 games there as that was a couple of laps of madness. But fair play Yuki Tsunoda around the outside of 2 cars into T1. What a brave move from him. And to be honest, our aim at the moment should be just to try and hang on to Bottas and Tsunoda here because, of course, yeah, they've got a bit more of an optimal strategy to make it to the end. I'm planning on pitting about the end of lap 21 and then going mediums to the end there. Sorry, softs to the end as Pierre now into the pit lane for probably his one and only stop of the Grand Prix. So yeah, these guys we are definitely battling with right the way through to the end, but it's going to be interesting to see how many people try and one-stop this and how many cars we might have to try and get the better of later on in the race. Have we seen many of the cars into the pits at the end of lap 15? Yes, we have. Actually, quite a few cars into the box. So we're going to gain some places here. As here comes Sergio Perez back out of the lane. Yeah, we're back up into 7th place now. Highest we've been pretty much all day. But still got a lot of work to do here. As gaining on Bottas once more.
To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
Send it to the inside of the fin, and we will say thank you very much, and we will reclaim P6 then. Just feel like Bottas was costing us a little bit against Tsunoda, but a cool, calm, collected dive there. Danny Rick would have been proud of that one. Guan Yu Zhou, next car into the lane then. He was having a pretty good day of it so far. Running up at about P4, but yeah, again, it's going to be one of those weird ones where you don't really know where everyone's positioned until late on in the day, but we need to try and get close to Tsunoda.
Where we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
Yeah, try and just get carried along by Yuki at the moment. I'm pretty certain he is still looking fast in that Mercedes. Oh, look at this Tsunoda, really, really slow this time around as we get towards the top of the hill there. Was trying not to use much battery, but we do sail right around the outside of Yuki, so not really too sure what's going on there. Perhaps he has got some technical gremlins in that Merc, but yeah, I mean, now if we can stay ahead of him, that won't be too bad. Teams still believe we're actually going to the end of the Grand Prix there, so yeah, gonna have to break the news to them at some point.
As gap to car in front is 6.8 seconds.
Yeah, gap to Pierre 6.8 seconds there, and we've pretty much gone from overtaking the Haas to lapping them in about 12 laps here. I know they've made a pit stop in that time, but still rather funny. Must admit, 2022 feels like a good to be able to rep Haas once more in Formula 1, but still, Schwartzman, not too sure what that was all about, mate. Schumacher's going to let us by as well. Yeah, I might be saying all that after qualifying, and Haas might have done what they used to in the first race of the year. Qualify really well, and throw it away. I pray they haven't, but you guys know far more than I do. Oh, we got yellow flags out. One of the Alfa Romeos going slowly here. Too sure which one that is. To be honest with you, is it Jack Aitken? First race at Alpha, that would be a pretty heartbreaking way for it to end. Or is it his teammate, Christian Lundgaard? Let's just wait and see. Apparently no one wants to break down at the moment. Whichever one it is, they're adamant they don't want to stop the damn thing. As we could really do with a safety car, to be honest, at this stage of the day. There we go. They have peeled off at T1. It is Christian Lundgaard. But we're not going to get a safety car, which is a bit heartbreaking for me. Just inform the team, of course, that we are going to be boxing at the end of this lap. Yeah, going on to soft tyres again for the final 14 laps here doesn't seem impossible by any means. So a little bit of a wobble there. May as well drain the battery, though. So we head down in towards the pits. Just make sure we keep it over the white line there as well. Again, Tsunoda almost running into the side of me. So we head down in towards the pit lane. Make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy. Need a nice clean pit stop this time round. Tyre wear wasn't perfect on those mediums. They definitely started to struggle later on in the stint. But where are we going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix? I think it's going to be around Jack Aitken. 2.2 second stop, though, is exactly what we need. And yeah, now we've got a fight on our hands towards the end. Here comes Jack as we head back out of the pits. Don't want to do anything stupid there. So yeah, back out in P13 there, about 11 seconds away from the points, but that big gaggle of cars behind Tsunoda still. This could still come back to us. We're going to be fast between now and the end with a bit of luck. Let's look at this immediately, all over the back of Jack Aitken. How can we just instantly romp up towards the back of the next car there? We need to try and get past him sooner rather than later, though. Up the inside. Oh, Jack Aitken seemingly not spotting us on the inside there. It was a bit of a lunge. I'll give him that, but I think we'd made it clear by our positioning down the straight that we were going to go for it. Should have been looking at his mirrors a bit more, because we were definitely wheel to wheel by the apex. As Schwartzman and Schumacher again. They're pretty good at coordinating when they're going to move out of the way, I suppose, but every time I think Schumacher's trying to capitalise on it. Schwartzman even. As immediately as well, Tsunoda back into the pits. So we have to work with him towards the end of the Grand Prix, but going to put us back into P11 now. So here we go, last couple of pitters back in, Bottas and Charles Leclerc, as we set new fast lap of the Grand Prix. That's what we need. Back up into the points we go then of this GP, and definitely should still be quicker than the Alpha Tauri there. However, Max Verstappen has pit again in this Grand Prix, which now means we're in the worrying situation where Lance Stroll now leads a Grand Prix here for Mercedes. Now, bit of a history lesson for some of you guys. For some of you, the limited number of you that were back here on F1 2020, we've grown a lot since then. Antonio Giovinazzi went to Mercedes halfway through our final season of the career mode with no F1 experience. He then won the Austrian Grand Prix, his debut race for Mercedes, and never won again throughout the rest of the championship. Could we see Lance Stroll? I mean, he's definitely got some experience under his belt, but go to Mercedes, first ever Grand Prix with the team, and wins the Austrian Grand Prix as well there. I'm getting a little bit worried that history is going to repeat itself on the F1 games.
Joe ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 5.3 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 4.0. You're gaining by 1.6 seconds a lap.
So taking a good chunk of time then out of Zhou Guanyu. Going to try and really teach myself this year to call him his name that way round. Oh, as we've got some yellow flags out. Someone's got issues. Is it Zhou Guanyu? No, I think it was the Alpine in front of him. That's Mazepin. Yes, it is. Oh, Mazepin's engine's gone. Karma, mate.
The incident has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
No safety car again, though, which, again, could have really helped us late on in the day. But yeah, like I said, trying to learn Zhou Guanyu's name this year. Stroll has now pit again, so Pierre Gasly is now into the lead of the Grand Prix. Please, Pierre, will you be going right the way through to the end? But yeah, of course, when I'm commentating, it is a little bit difficult at times to try and remember names and everything like that, because of course I just sort of read them as I see them. So yeah, I'm going to try and learn. I'm going to try and be good this year. All over the back then of Zhou Guanyu as we head on to lap 29 of 36 here in the Austrian Grand Prix. Surely this one is going to be a fairly simple textbook move there as we try and get the run up the hill to the outside of the first ever full-time F1 Chinese driver. And we should make the move work. Up now into P8 then of the Grand Prix as we're still taking time out of the gaggle of cars in front there, but just worried it's going to be a little bit too little too late here. That's not going to stop us from keeping our head down and pushing. Oh, why is Pierre pit with 7 laps to go? Don't say he's picked up damage or something like that, whatever it does mean. Max Verstappen is now going to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Is he? Yeah, no, Max Verstappen way out in front at the moment, as I got no idea what the rest of the order is. I think it might be Danny Rick up in P2 now, seemingly out of nowhere in this Grand Prix. Where are we going to come out in comparison to Pierre? We're actually going to be ahead of our teammate, so I reckon he had damage then from somewhere late on in the day. So a heartbreak for Pierre Gasly. Desperately needed a win on the board today, but it's not going to happen as Norris and Sainz still duking it out up the road. Yeah, tough day for 212 Motorsport as Red Bull at their home track seem like they're going to be able to gain everything they could ever ask for. Callum Ilott jumps out of the way as we start lap 31. Yeah, we need Norris and Sainz, of course, 2 McLaren former teammates. Gone very different ways now in their F1 careers. Yeah, we really needed those two to keep battling out. I'm not sure they are. 3.8 seconds the gap with 5 laps to go. Oh, Stroll! Why, man? I mean, he set a 2:12 time, which I suppose we can't be too angry with him. But we could have really done with that fastest lap bonus point today. Tyres are starting to give up, though. I think we're just going to have to try and consolidate P7 in this one. Yeah, been a difficult old race today, but to be honest, 8th to 7th on paper. Looks like we've just sort of struggled in the midfield, rather than, remember, we were basically last by half a lap to all the front runners. To be honest, I'd like to think, looking at it, we've probably had some of the best race pace today, and had we been able to one-stop, we would have probably been duking out with Verstappen right at the very front.
Yellow flag.
Oh, yellow flag's out again. Someone perhaps with some issues, or was it just the Haas cars
Green flag.
letting people by? Yeah, I think it was just the Haas cars letting people by again. However, it does bring us just that little bit closer to the guys at the road and maybe upset their rhythm.
3 seconds.
Schwartzman now actually makes the move work on Schumacher. As, yeah, our tyres are definitely pretty much gone then in this Grand Prix. Seems that Zhou Guanyu, sorry, has completely thrown it away as well. So we're dropping now behind Leclerc and Tsunoda. As, yeah, we've just got to get this thing now to the flag. 3 and a bit laps to go here.
Some information on Stroll. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Stroll then apparently with issues late on in the day as he's got Sergio Perez trying to close the gap. Might Red Bull walk away here with a 1-2 at their home race? That would be a hammer blow to our championship lead. So around the final couple of corners though, about to start the last lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, he's been given a bit of a lifeline today. He hasn't picked the optimal strategy, but both Stroll and our teammate Pierre Gasly running into issues later on in the day has really allowed him to walk away with this one and make it look a whole lot more plain sailing than it really was. Tsunoda though to the inside as we head back down towards Cell 1. Then we've got one Mercedes trying to hang on up the road as we'll immediately have a drag race with Yuki as we head up the hill there. I'm not wanting to give up this position this late on into the day. Oh, Tsunoda really tries to go aggressive though defensively at the top of the hill there. We almost come together, but we hold firm and we do hold on to the position there. As is Lance Stroll going to be able to do the same in his Mercedes a bit further up the road? I don't think there's going to be any more opportunities for Checo as he's still just trying to close in there. 5 cars from 5 different teams duking it out up the road. But Max Verstappen, he's going to come through to take home the victory here at the Red Bull Ring, a often familiar sight, both in real life and in the F1 games there. But as we come through the final few corners here in Austria, 8th to 7th, like I said, doesn't sound like a particularly brilliant race on paper. But when we consider where we were on lap 1, we can walk away from this one pretty happy there as we almost lose out at the final turn.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I think for driver of the day, I'd probably pick Lando Norris. He lived up to every inch of his reputation today, and I think he'll be going home, quite rightly, a bit proud of himself.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Austrian Grand Prix there, and like I said, not quite the race we would have wanted, but it could have gone a whole lot worse than it ended up doing so there. Max Verstappen takes home the dub for Red Bull there, 25 points on the board for him, means the gap at the top comes down rather drastically. We'll have a look at that in just a moment there. Lance Stroll, his first race for Mercedes in P2 ahead of Sergio there, Ricciardo, Sainz, and yeah, Lando Norris, 19th to 6th in his AlphaTauri. He had fantastic pace in qualifying there, put the car and yeah, brought it back really where it should have been from the very beginning there. It makes you wonder, you know, he could have probably got P2 had he started right at the front and carried on using the same strategy he did do there. 8th to 7th though for us in the end doesn't look too bad. Sonoda in 8th even. Gasly in at P9 there, but takes the fast lap bonus point, which might help the team out just a little bit there, and Charles Leclerc rounding out the top 10. Further down the order though, Jack Aitken in his first race for Alpha in P13, Ocon in his first race for Aston P15, and then, of course, Giovinazzi in his first race for Alpine in P18 there. So, all a bit of a mix-up further down the order, but it doesn't really seem like any of those drivers, apart from Sir Lance, have gained a huge amount by moving around. Championship-wise, though, the gap down now to 7 points at the front of the standings there. Sergio Perez as well jumps Pierre Gasly, which means the gap in the constructors is pretty much non-existent now at this stage of the year there. Sainz jumps Charles Leclerc up into P6, and yeah, Stroll with his first points of the year there, up into P12 there, immediately jumped Zhou Guanyu, as well as a whole host of other drivers further down the rostrum. Constructors-wise, though, 2 points, the gap between ourselves and Red Bull as we head in through the second half of the year there. It is really anybody's game in both championships once more. Mercedes still P3 ahead of Ferrari, and McLaren there and AlphaTauri still in 6th place there, all looking pretty safe for most of those runners. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we'll be back very, very soon. Round 10 of the year, we head to Silverstone. You guys do not want to miss that. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.